Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, that swift kick in the ass by real life, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about.
Yes.
I am Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin Jr. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm here.
Yeah, as good as can be expected.
As good as can be expected.
Yeah.
Trying to get back to some sort of normality.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, no, I was honestly shocked when you said you wanted to do the show today. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Like I was totally planning to not record this week.
no,
but-
I mean, obviously, yeah. Well, all right. So let's aside from dance. So we're not dancing around it. Like, my father passed away.
yeah.
Right, and he passed away last Sunday before last.
Yeah.
So, and we were already not doing the show that Monday
Because you were supposed to be leaving.
right. I was going to be out of town, and so we didn't have that show last week, and it worked out. So for this week, we had the funeral on Saturday, and I had yesterday. And today I went to work and I'm like, you know what? It's time to I didn't have the funeral stuff to worry about and all and the the eulogy to write. I do have some homework I got to do, but I wanted to get back into some normal shit and actually enjoy myself a little bit. And, talking to my friends. So yeah, I figured let's do the show. I admittedly we were supposed to be doing the
certain point of view.
Return of Jedi, and because I didn't get to go on my trip, I didn't get a plane ride to fucking read the book,
Right.
so that didn't work out. But here we are. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk about things,
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of things.
things and stuff. It's the holidays.
It is the holidays.
It's the holiday season.
Yeah. So we are going to talk a little bit about that. We'll get into more about everything that happened with you this last week. But why don't we take care of some business first and talk about some Patreon?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, if you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast and help make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week. We'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Chantal from Pop My Culture, Don Solsky, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Frank Kalevich, Wally Frogmore, Tina Land, Carly Vickers, Dragon Buddy, Nick from Swede Studios, Kristen Roscom, Janine Vickers, Shotgun Mark, Sterling Azier, Lord Helmet Fire, Frederick Martin, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, The Orange and Fetch Show, Ivo G, David Schmuck, Catherine Rennick, and Helen Martin. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Our most recent Patreon benefit is our latest giveaway happening tonight, live on the pod.
It is tonight.
Yes.
Are we gonna do it before?
I had it after our week, but before we get into any of the real heavy topics kind of thing. But I mean, we can do it whenever.
We should do it right now.
Just do it now. Fucking do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
Do it live.
All right. So I've already got the list of names of people who are eligible. There are a couple of people who are ineligible.
Okay.
Mostly previous winners and people who live in my house.
Fair enough.
So let's just go ahead and random number generator. Oh, and while I'm doing this,
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows what the giveaway is yet.
why don't you show the people while I'm pulling up my number generator?
I will show what the people.
So yeah, this
I have
is
no idea what I'm
the
doing.
Rebel Files collection of intelligence of the Alliance. So this is something that we were able to pick up at a pretty reasonable price, and it's got all kinds of cool shit inside. So this is going out to one lucky winner, and Kristen said she's going to send it out after Christmas, so between Christmas and New Year's. So obviously don't expect it.
So you can't
by
re-gift it for Christmas.
Correct.
So yeah, if you're already planning on that,
Show them the
sorry.
back.
So sad, so bad.
Yeah, you can see all the shit in there. But-
Look at it.
Anyway, so
at it.
I'm going to go ahead and do my thing. I click it 5 times because I always do it on the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 10, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Janine Vickers.
Ho!
Hey! So
So?
congratulations to Janine.
Very good.
She might be just handing it off to Lord Helmetfire. Who knows?
Maybe it'll pass through in transit. I don't know. I don't know how we'll do that. Carly, help me pull that off.
Yep. And just to finish off the read, thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this and this.
And that. Should we put like a note on it so that we know who it is?
We can always go back and just watch the tape.
That's true. We do have it on tape.
Yeah. It's the evidence is right there on
Right.
YouTube.
We should put that down because I'm sure that you're gonna block it later.
What? What are you talking about? So I've got a day in Star Wars actually today. And this is...
before we do that, I have to
okay.
read Dave notes.
Oh, okay.
Right. Which are we're taking a week off from notes. Merry Christmas.
All right, very good. What was I doing? Fuck. Oh, day in Star Wars.
Helmet Fire says I'll give it to him and he'll handle the transfer, which is good because I'll see him later this week.
Yep. So this is a pretty easy one, but it's an important one. It's today, December 18th in 2015.
2015. Could it be the release of the best fucking Star Wars video game ever put out?
Not video game.
Oh, is it Force Awakens when it came out?
It was Force
The
Awakens.
Force Awakens came out? Okay.
Yeah. No, I think Battlefront came out a month or two beforehand.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But so what you're saying is this time in 2015 we were standing outside of a fucking movie theater.
Yeah, you, me, the John,
Yep.
Kate.
And John had his hands like this as Kate was dumping the contents of her fucking purse.
Because she lost her ticket. Because this was before the QR codes.
Yeah.
This is paper tickets still.
Yeah.
And we were standing in line, no assigned seats.
No assigned seats. It was still fucking stadium seating in the IMAX at
Yep.
Cherry Hill.
Yep.
We were there like 4 hours early.
Yep.
And fucking, so we were real close to the front
Mm-hmm.
of the line. Like we were probably like 10 people.
Yeah,
from the
something
front.
like
It wasn't the very first showing. I think we were there for the second showing because the first showing was, I don't know. There was something like we picked the better showing.
Yeah, because I feel like it was dark outside by the time we actually started going in.
Yeah.
We got there when it was light, but it was dark
Yeah.
by the time.
Well, I
we
mean,
started.
shit, that happens at fucking. It might as well happen instantaneously the way it is now. But
yeah.
yeah, so Kate, literally, as it's like I've been standing out there for hours.
Yeah.
And then Jess is like, okay, it's time to go in, and Kate's like, I can't find my ticket. And John goes, dump it. And she's like, no. He's like, I had a sister. I don't care. Just dump it.
Uh-huh.
So all of the contents of her purse,
Yeah.
and I mean of a teenage girl that you can think of, that shit was going into his hands.
Yeah.
So we found the fucking thing, and we did. We found the ticket, and we got in without any issues. But
all was well.
yes. So,
But that was a minor panic
Right,
moment. You
right.
know, it's like, oh fuck.
so guess what? Her ass was going to be fucking in the lobby.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see you in 2.5 hours.
Right. Here's a couple of bucks. Get yourself a soda because we're watching this fucking movie.
Yeah. And you know,
I'll deal with your mother later.
yeah, but I mean, it was great. We talked about it at length on the pod here. Like that experience going to see Force Awakens that opening day was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just such a good experience overall. You know, say what you will about the sequels. I still think The Force Awakens is the best of all of the sequels.
Yeah.
And it's still one of the best Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Period.
Because you're adding it. It's collectively you're adding to the experience.
Yeah.
Right. That whole experience of going to the theater, standing in line. I mean, that's the last time we did that. We didn't do it for Last Jedi because
Right, 'cause we had assigned seats by then.
right. There's no standing in line to get in to make sure you get to the best seats.
Yeah, no,
There was-
because the line is waiting at your fucking computer as soon as you see the tickets going on sale.
To get to fucking like 10, 9. Better start clicking now. Ah!
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was the remnants of a bygone era.
Yeah.
And
it was interesting too because it bridged that gap kind of, you know, it's the one last time with that old way with the new Star Wars movie.
and we'll always remember it.
Yeah.
Too. Always remember it.
Yeah, because that was the first time the John had seen the dude with the puppet, the dog puppet.
Oh, the
dog puppet with the cigar.
Oh, the
Fuck.
comic dog. Shit.
You know, where he
Triumph.
Yeah,
Is it Triumph.
the comic dog where he went in line for the Attack of the Clones, and he was fucking with all the people waiting in line for that.
For you to poop on.
Yeah, so I pulled that up. I made John watch it because he had never seen it before.
Yes.
So yeah, good times. And again,
8 years ago.
Yeah, it was 8 fucking years already.
God.
Unbelievable. And how many times did we see that in theaters when it came out? Was it 4 or 5?
It was at least 4. It was at least 4.
Yeah.
Because we saw it twice in Cherry Hill.
Yeah.
We saw it once in the RPX.
Yep. That's right, with the loud
With
thundering
the
boom.
stupid fucking just too loud.
It was too loud. It was too loud. It was stupid kids. It was too loud.
And there was one other time. If we saw it in Morristown without the RPX,
Maybe, because I remember there was one day where you and I are at work and we're just like, well,
fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go see it again.
but it wasn't the RPX. It was just a normal theater. So yeah, it was at least 4.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, it was. If they re-release any movie, any one of them, I'd still.
I like the pause.
Yeah, any one of them.
Well, hey, you bit the bullet and saw Rogue One when they re-released that.
I turned a corner with Rogue One because of Andor.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
but cinematic releases of Star Wars hit differently. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
They just do.
Like, honestly, I would actually love to go watch a marathon of Ahsoka in a fucking theater. I think that would be pretty badass.
Didn't they do that when
They did it for one episode? They did it
Okay.
for I think it was the episode 5 where Thrawn was introduced.
Because they had tickets to do it, but that shit sold out like fucking instantaneously. Because I know I was trying to do it in Center City, but I think that was the closest to us.
Yeah.
And it was fucking no way. You couldn't click fast enough. I'm clicking. I can't click any faster.
Yeah. But
I can't pull over any further.
yeah, and you know, they say like, oh, cinema's dying, you know, or they need to like completely rethink how they do things, because you know we had all these movies bomb this year, these high budget movies like just making shit money, when you know just a couple years ago, like especially all of the comic book movies, they all made $1 billion and
Yeah, and look at how much Barbie made. Look at how much Oppenheimer made.
Yeah.
Like if you put out a good product, people will go to see it.
Mhm.
But you have to put out a product that people are willing to go out to see.
yeah.
Like, you know, you're competing with sitting at home in your fucking pajamas,
Yeah.
which people go out in their pajamas now anyway. So this is just societal norm anyway. But it's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
You're competing with sitting at home watching Netflix and being comfortable. You need to put out a product that's going to get people to the theater. Like,
Yeah.
like the upcoming Dune movie. Like,
Oh fuck! I keep forgetting that's coming out.
yeah, there's nothing about that I like. Oh, I want to wait until I can watch this at home.
Hell no.
There's like it's just that grand cinema experience. Like I want that full experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting too because in a year where there were like 4 Marvel releases, 2 or 3 DC releases, almost all of them didn't make very good money. But you had these 3 IPs or these 3 movies this year between the Mario Brothers movie, Barbie, and Oppenheimer made shitloads of money, and they weren't sequels. Yes, a couple of them were based on famous IPs, but they weren't sequels. Oppenheimer was, you know, a story that's been told in movies before, but it was this fresh new take, and Christopher Nolan is just a fucking filmmaking god.
Yeah, I wanted to see it again, but I mean I'll watch it at home. I'll see it again at home. It won't, but
it won't hit.
It won't hit the same.
Yeah.
It just won't.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Force Awakens, and you know, you mentioned like turning the corner with Rogue One. I really wish I wish I could somehow reconcile with The Last Jedi. I really do, but I just I think it's irredeemable. And you know, it's half of a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
And then the other half is, you know, Ryan Johnson shitting in our mouths.
Sit straight in our mouths.
Yeah, just lay down on the ground. I'm going to squat right over you.
Right.
And open up.
Team America puppet style, right into our fucking mouths.
Yeah.
But I'll see it in the theater again.
Yeah, I would too. If
Yeah.
they re-released it, preferably as part of like, you know, the whole trilogy or something like that.
Would be preferable.
Yeah. But
But-
even if it was just The Last Jedi by itself, of course.
Yeah, I'd go see it again.
Yeah.
And you should too, honestly,
Yeah.
because we want to see Star Wars in the theater.
Yeah.
We want Star Wars to be in the theater. Because they made Star Wars for the theater.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And 2 or B or however I started that, got Home Alone shit stuck in my head.
Yeah.
D. Where was I going with that shit?
We want to see Star Wars in theaters.
Right. We do want to see Star Wars in theaters. We want, and you go see Last Jedi. Oh no, I was going to talk about the music. Like it's John Williams. The way that sound is in the theater is just spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it was meant to be taken in.
Yeah. That was really the only bright spot about the last Indiana Jones movie was you can tell the John Williams music. It was like, yeah, that's the good stuff.
And you know what? I heard even that though was like it seemed like it was like more of a rehash of a lot of other stuff. Like
It
there
was.
wasn't a lot of original
Yeah.
like music.
But it was still John Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, anywho, anything else on that topic before we
No.
move on? All right. Well,
So
so
what? Before we get to 2015, my guess was the Battlefront game.
oh yeah.
So I'm on the EA. I get the EA Plus or whatever,
Mhm.
and which means I have access to like the EA catalog.
It's like their version of Game Pass. Kind
right,
of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which it includes Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Right, that version of it includes Game Pass.
Nice.
So I'm not double booking with my
So
Xbox.
It's kind of like if you get Disney Plus, you can get Hulu for just an extra $2
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's somehow incorporated in the cost, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
but because the Star Wars properties are on it, it just ends up working out. Like I didn't want to pay another $70 to play Jedi Survivor on my laptop.
Yeah.
Although I've probably paid $70 now since I downloaded it, but whatever.
Details.
Anyway, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
How they get you.
Oh yeah.
So I downloaded Battlefront,
Mhm.
and I was playing it on this
On PC.
on PC.
Oh, okay.
But I have the controller plugged into it,
Oh, okay.
and holy fuck, dude! Like-
Did you get any matches? Like any online matches?
No. So I tried a couple.
Yeah.
I tried it Blast, and I tried one other game mode, and it went for several minutes.
Yeah,
and didn't
no
pick
cues.
anybody up.
Yeah, that happened the last time I tried to play the PC version.
Yeah. But I played the when you going through the rounds. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, the solo mode.
Yes. So I played that for a while, and it was easier because other people could watch TV and do whatever,
Yeah.
and I could kind of like space out and do something at the computer
Mhm.
because God bless this machine can handle that really
Yeah.
well, without any lag or anything else. And I was just like on my 35-inch curved screen.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
And it looked just as amazing as
Oh yeah. For a game that is 8 years old,
Mhm.
fucking awesome.
We should one of these days. We should really try to push those that solo mode. Like do a co-op and see how far we can actually like push cuz I think you can just keep going and going and going, right? And it just gets harder and harder.
No, so you only have so many levels that you do before they come pick you up. But there are things that I haven't unlocked yet. Like you can get into the unlock hard, and then there's hard without dying, and there's there's other qualifiers
Okay.
that you can earn, which those things are hard.
They
really are.
Yeah.
Like
We should do that though, because I mean, even if you can't get online queues, you can still play with another person.
Yeah.
On those modes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should do that. All right, I'm going to add that to my 2024 goals list.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah, because that game, it still plays phenomenal. Whether it's on the Xbox X or on the PC or whatever, it's for an 8-year-old game, it still plays fantastic. And speaking of games, before I forget, because I will, my brain is a pile of rice pudding right now. Titanfall 2. Talked about it before.
That's on Game Pass, I know.
Yes, and it's also via EA.
Yeah.
So I downloaded that and was playing that for a minute because I wanted to play through the story, like as opposed to just going through repetition.
Yeah.
And plus, I like the game, and I hadn't played it in a while, like through the story anyway. And again, graphics, everything for a game that came out. I mean, I think that game's 8-9 years old.
Yeah, and
Easily.
that's the same guys who made
They made the game engine for Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order.
right.
So like the wall slides and like all those movements and stuff like that. You're doing that as the pilot.
Okay.
And I really thoroughly enjoyed the gameplay for Titanfall. And I would love for them to make another one. Honestly,
Yeah.
that would be fucking phenomenal. Titanfall 2, 2016, October 28th, 2016 is when that one came out.
Okay.
So again, a 7-year-old game. It still looks and plays phenomenally.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about these last couple generations of video games just in general is, they still look really good. They hold up graphically really well, as opposed to like when we were doing like PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, and then, PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 was such a huge jump in graphical quality, where you go back and you try to play those PS1 or PS2 games, they're ugly as fuck. Yeah.
Like, Lara Croft with her pointy titties and playing Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And walking and slamming into stuff. But at the time, it was the tits.
Oh, sure. But I think more recent generations of video games are going to hold up so much longer graphically, just because, we really kind of crossed the threshold, I think, when we got into like the 360 PS3 era.
Yeah. But funny enough, like I was playing it, I had it going on the big monitor, and my nephew Eric came over, and he's like, I was like, yeah, this game came out a while ago. I think I said 2012 or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I can tell that's like that font, that's like 2015 game font. And I'm looking at, he's in 8th grade.
Right.
I'm looking at him like, just go away. Just
Goddamn kids.
Beat it, nerd. Calling
good.
me out for my old ass game.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to do a very quick version of our week before we start talking about, some of the deeper stuff that we have planned?
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously I have additions to
The sacred Jedi
Pops. No.
You saw me hit the button.
The sacred Jedi
That one.
The sacred Jedi
I'll hit it
The sacred Jedi
Okay. I think we get it.
for emphasis.
Right. All right. So obviously I have some Black Series figures. I don't fucking understand. Like, some of these show up and I'm like, when did I order that? Was I high?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It's gotta be. So, perfect example. No fucking clue why I got this. This is a Stormtrooper Jedi Patrol. Just the normal Stormtrooper with the shoulder thing. Looks like the Sand Troopers.
Is it the?
Yeah.
Do you have him already
I do.
unboxed?
Yeah, I've got him in a box and unboxed. Why I bought this? It must have been cheap. That's the only thing I can think of. But I have zero memory of ordering this. But it showed up in a fucking box on my doorstep. I'm like, okay. So it's another Stormtrooper. So I'll probably end up opening it because I already have one that's sealed. So it'll just add more to the army, which, God, I wish you guys could see the battle scenes that I have set up here. They're pretty awesome.
You have to take a video.
Yeah. Well, I have sent some to Lunar Girl, but not of the most
Not recent.
updated.
Not
yeah.
recent with the annihilation that's happening right now.
Yep. So I got another Ahsoka. This one is from the show Ahsoka. And this is probably the most Rosario Dawson looking Ahsoka yet. They did have one from the Mandalorian where it was Rosario, but I think this one, the detail is just
Holy
perfect.
shit.
Yeah, good, right?
Wow. How many of these do you think she has? Rosario Dawson.
Well, so that's the thing. So, I was going to go to that MegaCon in Orlando in February where she was supposed to be there. And I was actually going to ask the question, like when I got up to have her sign my fucking Black Series figure, I was going to ask, like, so when they make one of these figures of you, how many, like, do they give you a bunch of copies? Like, do you get a bunch of them as like a gift? But she's not going to be there now. Long story about that, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, no, that figure looks fucking amazing.
There's a level of detail. Like the figure looks more like her than the picture of her on the side does.
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. That is absolutely amazing.
All right. So I do know where these ones came from because I've been, surfing for clearance sales and Black Series figure sales quite a bit lately. So I found a bunch that were on sale. First, from Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan Kenobi Wandering Jedi. I got 2 of them because they were like $9 each. So one to open, one to keep sealed.
Hey, look, it's got a
Yeah,
little,
what's her
fucking,
name?
Layla.
Yeah, Layla Ali. Yeah. So I'll have a
Hello there.
I'll have a loose Obi-Wan. Another guy who was cheaper than normal. I don't think he was $10. He was probably more like 12 or 14. But it's a Death Watch Mandalorian,
Okay.
which now I'll open and add it to my Mandalorian loose collection.
That's cool.
So this is
I like it.
this is the one from the Mandalorian. Another Ahsoka. This one I actually have. This is a duplicate. I'm going to open this one. But look at the detail on that one. It's not nearly as good as the other one. I mean, it's still good.
It's good, but it's not as good.
But the one from the Ahsoka show is actually significantly more detailed.
Right. It's like they threw this one together.
Yeah.
The other one was like, all right, those Obi-Wan figs are $5 each at Marshall's, according to Bronco Fett.
Okay. So, yeah, I knew they were cheap. Like, I got them on super clearance. That's why I got 2. Already have this guy in the box, but now I have another Mandalorian loose. It's Axe Woves. So, he was also a little bit cheaper than normal.
I love the ones where you can take the helmet on and off. Like
Yes.
Even, if you were displaying it for the package, you would want the helmet on. But if you know you're going to take it out, like...
I think you would want it off because...
I don't give a fuck what the guy looks like, honestly. But if I'm going to play with it, if I'm going to play with it, then I want to be able to take the helmet on and off.
Yeah, which you can with this one, obviously.
But you can't with, like, the Death Watch.
No, because that's just a generic
Right.
guy, as opposed to this one is actually a person. So, we've talked at length about my obsession with the Return of the Jedi packaging, and
The sacred Jedi.
I thought I had everything. Well, I kind of did, right?
Right.
With one small caveat. So I've got all the figures, but then you see I've got the wait, let me just make sure I'm talking. Yeah, the Scout Trooper on the speeder bike.
Yes.
In that other weird box.
Yeah.
Because it comes with the speeder bike and the guy's just loose inside.
Yeah.
But, it's not just the guy in the Return of the Jedi packaging. So, to completely finish the set, I also got the Scout Trooper in the official Return of the Jedi packaging.
Now do you have everybody?
Now I do. I have everything from the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary thing.
Nice.
Yeah. I was missing him and Bib Fortuna. I got the Bib Fortuna, and then I'm like, well, fuck. I have the speeder guy, but I don't have him in this packaging. So...
There he is.
Yep.
Scout Trooper.
Yeah. And then, speaking of special packaging that I've been obsessed with lately, the Power of the Force ones, which I have the Luke and Leia up there.
Right.
Well, apparently, there was also a Han Solo in the Power of the Force packaging. Episode 4 Han Solo.
Do you know, was there a TIE pilot in this Power of the Force one?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh man,
I think they had TIE pilots for pretty much all of the 40th anniversary packaging.
they did,
Yeah. But,
which I have one,
yeah.
but
And then because they were cheap, I got a second Han Solo. So I'll open this one. But that's it. That's the haul for this week. Again,
well, really, it's 2 weeks worth, right?
true. Yeah. And I've got a whole bunch more that are actually going to get here tomorrow. So, and then, of course, the next time we record will be after Christmas. So who knows? Maybe Kristen will sneak in a couple.
Maybe. It's funny because I look at the Scout bike, the speeder bike one,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that because they're basically just upscaling the 3 3/4 inch figures,
Yeah.
that the bike assembles and disassembles the same way.
I sure hope so, because I hope it's got the brown button on the back that you
just
push.
push
And,
that button, ping, and the whole thing just explodes in your hand.
yeah, and it's like 3 main pieces, the bottom,
Right.
the top, and then the front part that clips in.
Pay so much money. No, no, Dave, no. Anyway, I bring up the Power of the Force thing because I have, like, on my wall, my TIE Pilot wall, I have a Power of the Force TIE Pilot in the 3 3/4.
Right, yeah, because they did release that in the 90s.
Right.
In that line.
So very cool.
Yeah, so, yep, more to come, but, one of my goals, so you talking about goals for 2024 is I would like to get to a point where I don't have to keep getting backlogs of stuff. I'm hoping to get very close to catching up, and then all I have to focus on is the newly released stuff. It might take a couple more years, but I want to really chip away at it in 2024. So we'll see.
As somebody who attempted that and
with the pops,
it is a challenge. I can tell you it's a challenge.
Foolhardy Enterprise.
Also, yes, and an expensive one.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So
Just leave it at that.
So that's that. Other week stuff we're gonna get to when we get to like our main topic area.
Fair enough.
But what you got for us?
I really my week sucked, honestly.
Obviously,
So I don't want to get into that. But I stopped and said hi to the Vickers clan on the way over,
Oh,
and I got some Christmas goodies from them.
oh boy.
And Patreon supporter Carly Vickers is a huge Snoopy fan, and I am a self-professed also Snoopy fan. I've fully admitted on the pod,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah. I mean, I love their seasonal stuff. The Christmas episode, obviously, and then the Halloween one too. Are
how cute they are.
awesome.
Look at them. Look at their cuteness. So fluffy. You know, it's just look at them,
It's like he's staring into your soul.
right? Those rosy cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Woodstock. Like, yep, there he is. Yeah, very, very, very cute. Snoopy is just, it brings me back to a part of my childhood. It's just like, it has the warm fuzzy feeling.
Yeah. Like, as we're getting close to Christmas, did you watch that every year? The Charlie Brown Christmas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did too. We had a pirated copy on Betamax, and we watched it pretty much every year in my house.
The fucking Betamax. And Mr. Vickers got me a little handy,
He gave you a handy?
and also a little handy tool.
What the fuck is this?
It's a titanium hex bit driver for the guy who likes having a tool in his pocket
Right.
at all costs.
Wait, are there bits in here?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Isn't that fucking awesome?
That's very cool. Yeah, kind of show the people, but it's so small. Really, you're not gonna? That was a cue.
My penis is smooth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he also got me this this carbon fiber light. Check that out.
Very nice. Is it bright as shit?
Well, it has a bright setting and it has a normal setting.
Yeah. Again, so small.
It's so light. The light is so light.
Very nice.
Because I have my wallet's set up, right? So this was my previous wallet. And right now I have I put my key in there.
I love the red tag.
Yeah.
That's
remove before flight.
yeah.
But
Some people will get that one.
yeah. So, it's a multi-purpose thing. I'll put my key in there. I've got a little multi-tool in there.
Mm-hmm.
And my new flashlight in there, and space pen in there because it writes everywhere. And this was the wallet I was carrying before, so still be in my pocket to hold all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But check this motherfucker out.
What is this? Ooh. Well, I saw the Empire symbol, so that's
Right.
and so I guess is this supposed to look like a Beskar bar?
Open it up. Tell me what it reminds you of.
Type. They look like tie
Right.
wings.
Do you know who
So-
made that?
Yeah.
Vickers made it.
Really?
Vickers made it.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the front side looks like Beskar, and then the other side looks like TIE pilot wings.
Yeah. Dude,
That's awesome.
yeah, he's going full bore into the leathering.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Dude, it's pretty fucking phenomenal. I put my cards in there, and it's nice. It's minimalist because I appreciate a minimalist wallet. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
a front pocket guy, and it's real leather, and it's all hand, like all those little holes he put in there by hand.
Damn.
And it's fucking awesome, and I can't tell you how much joy it brings me.
Yeah.
There, Mr. Vickers. So
That's pretty sweet.
yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, it's just when I opened it and saw the little fucking the tie wings, I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool, very very cool. Yeah, it's very very cool. So, moral of that story is, he needs to fucking make more of these, and get an Etsy store going so
Yeah,
that people
hell
can
yeah.
fucking buy them.
Yeah, I'm sure
And-
you could, charge a pretty decent amount for something like
Dude,
that.
there are lots of nerds that would fucking look at that and go like, I have to have that right now,
Mm-hmm.
and will pay far out the ass for it. I'm telling you, and I will write all the reviews to say how awesome this is, because like you'd never know that this was like, this is his first time doing it too. By the way,
Yeah.
the motherfucker's good at everything he does.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Oh, there's more.
But wait, there's more. So the last thing is actually for you.
Oh.
Yes, I have made you something.
What? Oh,
Made
yes.
you a handful of things.
Yes. They're stands for the Black Series figures. I was actually, as I was trying to rearrange some stuff today, like shit kept falling over. I'm like, I need more fucking stands. Oh,
There you go.
All right. You're the best.
So I don't know how many there are. I would just go into my bathroom, where we posted this in the Facebook group that my 3D printing room, or whatever, the roller cart
Is it in the bathroom?
it's in our utility room,
Okay.
where the washer and dryer are and everything
Okay.
else.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because that's where like the heat's always consistent, the humidity is right at like 40%,
Yeah.
which is really good for it, and it's right at 70 degrees all the time, because that's where the air handler is.
Mm.
So it's the best room to do that, and the shitter is right there. So,
Right. Right. That's the downstairs one,
Right,
right? When you
exactly.
go downstairs on the right.
Yep. So when I'm going in there to fucking take a shit, I'll just start it up. It's 40 minutes to print one, and just keep going.
All right.
So
That's very cool.
yeah. So I'm just looking at the chat.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is that it for your initial week stuff?
That's all I had. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah,
yeah.
to the Vickers clan for making my day.
Yeah, man. The Vickers always coming through. They're always full of surprises and full of really cool stuff. So anyway, we decided to call this episode Life Lost in the Holidays because, obviously you had a big life event, which was a loss
Right.
this week. And, you know, I basically wanted to give you the floor to talk as much or as little about it as you want. And then I had a whole bunch of other things to kind of wrap into this whole discussion as well.
Yeah. 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 It's sucks.
Yeah.
So. What are the three talking points about this whole experience in the past week, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is, you know, you have this discussion point where is it better for, like, to go suddenly? It was better for him, harder on us,
Right.
right? Because he hated being in a hospital. He hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it. So by going suddenly, it was better for him,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So there's something to that. Again, harder on us, better for him. The second thing is there were relationships that have been hurting for the past few years in the family that are probably not completely mended, but like better than they were because of this.
Oh, okay.
So there's something to that also. You know, it's a shame that things like a death in the family can have that happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've seen it too. I've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, death in the family. All of a sudden, people are.
it's a catalyst, right?
Yeah.
It turns into a catalyst, and then that's, you know, it evens the playing field sometimes when there's, you know, personalities and things like that. It really evens out the playing field.
Yeah, because I mean, really, it puts things in perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you never know. You never know when your number is going to get called, or when
Right.
somebody that you really care about, their number is going to get called.
Right.
So
It's, you only have so many heartbeats.
yeah.
The third thing is make it as easy as you possibly can for the people that are going to have to take care of you
Yeah.
afterwards. It's really, really hard to think about that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think about it. You don't think about, like, does my wife know the PIN number to my phone?
Right.
Right? Does she know how to access the accounts? Does know the password to the to be able to pay the gas bill?
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like, is that stuff written down somewhere so that if something happens suddenly, that things won't slam shut?
Right.
And now you're waiting on court orders and things like that take weeks of time, and then it's, instead of being able to mourn properly, now you're dragged through this quagmire of bullshit.
Yeah.
So the more prepared that you can be for that eventuality, the better. Now, it's a morbid conversation. It's
Sure.
It's that life insurance conversation and everything else, and nobody wants to have, especially young people don't want to have it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even when I brought this up with Kate, she had asked me about it fairly directly, and I had said, you know, about making a will. She's like, I'm 24, and I'm like, yeah, and I mean, but that was a reality for us as in military. Like, you had to have one.
Yeah.
Pretty early. You know, if nothing else, a power of attorney.
Right.
That way, somebody else can at least take care of the stuff in your name.
Mm-hmm. Because even though we were young, we were put in,
Yeah.
you know, imminent danger.
Yeah. So a power of attorney and a will is super important. Something as simple as, like, here's what my passwords are, and they're in a book in this desk drawer or whatever. Or, you know, have it somewhere on your phone where even if the phone's locked, somebody can see it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, secretly. You know, do whatever. But think about that. Think about what you can do to help the other person, or you want to, if you want to make it a game of Clue, and you just want to fuck with people, have at it. Go for it. Like, this is fuck you, cockbag.
Do like a scavenger hunt throughout your property.
Right,
and
exactly. Which no, don't do that. That's the worst idea ever. Do not do that.
But you know, a great example of that is when my grandparents passed in 2019. Fuck, I can't believe it's been 4 years already. And you know, my dad had to take care of everything for them, and it was a similar situation. He had to go through lawyers and all that stuff, and he's like, I am not going to put you through that. And he took care of fucking everything after that. After dealing with my grandparents' shit, he already bought his like burial plot. He already did his will. He's got a book of all of his passwords and all of his bank stuff and everything. And he went through that exact experience.
Yeah, you don't want to have that experience to do that.
Yeah.
But you don't think about that stuff. Like, it's not something that, unless you have that experience, you don't necessarily think about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not something that comes up. It's not part of our reality.
Yeah.
And especially in this day and age with electronics, because you're not going to the bank as a representative of the family. Like, where you could go in before, it was like, oh, hey, you're so-and-so's daughter. Like, I know you. Like, yes, my dad died. We need to be able to get into the account. Oh, okay. And there's like this facial recognition because your family banked there for so many years. That doesn't exist anymore. That is
No, not in this day and age.
no. So everything's electronic. Everything has to be tracked. And like my cousin Rick said, and because he just experienced it with his dad a couple years ago,
Yeah.
you can write down your passwords, write down what those passwords go to.
Yeah.
A list of passwords is fine, but write down what they go to also.
Yeah.
That would also be good. Like, make it organized. Like, if you know who you want to have to be the executor, sit with them so that they, have them write it down. So it's organized in a way that they understand. It's not being morbid. It's being thoughtful.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, when everyone's trying to get through the shock of the moment, you have the other stuff kind of figured out.
Yeah.
Like, the other stuff kind of falls into place.
Yeah. So you don't have any more stressors on top of, grieving and everything else.
Exactly. The other thing I'll say about, Dad's passing is he got a burial at sea, right? Which is actually really cool, and I didn't think was an option. So when I heard that that's what he wanted, I'm not gonna lie. I thought we're gonna be renting a boat. I'm gonna be on a boat, and it's gonna be like the Big Lebowski, and we're gonna be dumping, and it's gonna be
It's gonna fly back into your face.
Like, this is legitimately, I'm sitting in a funeral home having this imagery, right? And the reality is that he's going to be cremated, and they take those remains and they send him down to Norfolk with his casket flag, and they basically put him on an active ship that's going out on a cruise, like either meeting up with a carrier group or something like that.
Yeah.
And they do the honors on the boat. They're all dressed in their whites. They do the full military honors with the gun salute, the whole bit, on the ship while they're at sea.
That's awesome.
And you can't, it's because it's an active cruise, you can't go out like it's not a family thing or anything else. It's because it's an active, they're out on active duty.
Yeah, yeah.
So what you get back is you get the shells like you would if it was at home station, and you get your casket flag back with a map with a lat long of where it actually had happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and look, we're Air Force guys, right? Retired Air Force guys. The amount of time we spent in the Air Force is about half of the Air Force's existence, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Air Force started in 1947. We came into the Air Force in 1996.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe not half, but we spent most of the Air Force's existence in it.
Yeah.
And its culture and its traditions, it doesn't have any. It has fucking cheap suits, and it's awful. The Navy has their fucking traditions. If nothing else, with shit like that, they have their traditions and they take them seriously.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really cool thing to be able to do for somebody who served their country with honor.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that. So really neat option. And it's not just one funeral home that does, obviously, that, like, if you have the unfortunate circumstance of being in this situation, talk to your loved one was in the Navy, you know, has a DD 214 or whatever, which also make sure you have, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Talk to the funeral director. They have all of this information. Those motherfuckers are so good at what they do.
Yeah.
Like, I deal with them all the time. Like, in my
with the lodge and
with
everything.
the lodge,
Yeah.
I deal with funerals and funeral homes, and, like, obviously the one we dealt with for ours is the best one because I deal with them all the time.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the better one. Anyway, they know their shit. They know their shit, and they know what's available out there, and it's done right. So,
You know, I got to say too, I was pretty impressed at the end of the service when they had a Navy guy and a Customs and Border Patrol guy come out and do the flag folding.
yeah, so that actually, the funeral director, they reached out to the Navy. I didn't have to do any of that. And the Navy sent out the bugler and a three-striper, a commander.
Yeah.
And the poor guy, like, he knew what he was doing, but it wasn't as sharp as it would have been if it was an enlisted guy.
I was noticing that.
Let's face it.
There was a little bit of struggle in there.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
he was on the struggle bus a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
he took it seriously, and there was no, whatever. But as people who know things about these things,
Yeah.
like, standing there watching it, I was like, that could have been tighter. But
yeah.
it'll be done right when for what happens out at sea.
Yeah. Because he was in the Navy and he was also, Customs forever.
Right. So, friends of my dad reached out to me about having the Customs Honor Guard out there, and so that was what the chief inspector for the Philadelphia area was there.
Yeah.
Like, that's who that was, and yeah, a bunch of his friends from Customs growing up. I mean, I talked about it in the eulogy, like his life as a customs inspector, customs agent, dominated most of our lives growing up. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why I picked it, because I know a lot of his customs friends were tracking, so I thought it was kind of important to touch on that.
So you bring up the eulogy. So, I was thinking about it, and I actually never met your dad. Like, he was not there when you became like the Grand Wizard of the lodge, right?
He was not.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I never actually met your dad, but your eulogy, the way you described him, the stories you told and everything, like, by the end of it, I felt like, okay, I have a good idea for who this guy actually was, So I think you did a great job there, because I can picture in my head how he was, just based on your stories, and I'm sure it was probably fairly accurate.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was stressed all week about it. That eulogy.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was just hard.
Oh,
Like,
I have no doubt.
and it's tough too, because in the beginning of it, I talk about how Martins aren't really good with emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, that's fact.
Yeah.
My uncle's eulogy for my grandmother was, he barely made it through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into it Like first writing the fucking obituary was hard.
Yeah.
Like there's again things you don't think about, and I'm like, all right, I'm writing the obituary, and if you really think about it, like I've seen a lot of obituaries. Again, I'm in an unfortunate position as the secretary of a lodge that has a primarily older, occupancy.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, a lot of people die, and they have to arrange funerals, for Masonic funerals and stuff like that. And I'm dealing with families and reading a lot of obituaries. And what you kind of don't think about is if you ever wanted to find somebody and you search their name, the first thing that's going to come up is their obituary.
Yeah.
And if you're even historically like a record of something, of someone, even if they've never been in a newspaper before or never been in the news, their obituary is going to be there.
It is true.
That is one of the most permanent records that we have as humans.
Yeah.
Is the obituary. And that fucking hit me square in the face when I was trying to write a fucking obituary for my father.
It's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? So I tried, and I'm so pissed that I fucked up that first sentence. Like there's like an incomplete sentence because I had a thought and I didn't finish it.
In the obituary?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like in the first paragraph.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I'm glad it's not that obvious, but it's
Yeah.
obvious to me when I read it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fucking hard. It's that it just struck me. It just struck me as something as I'm searching for other people, and the first thing that comes up is the obituary. It's like, God damn, this is almost more of a legacy of my father than the eulogy, than anything else.
Yeah, kind of.
So that's why, because I know a couple of people say, "Oh, it's a little long," and I'm like, no, it
I mean, you don't want to do them a disservice,
exactly. But so many people, like, I see them and I'm like, this person did a lot in their lives. Obituaries used to be fairly significant. Like there's a reason they're in small print in a certain part of a newspaper, right? Because there's usually like, this is a snapshot of this person's life. And I've seen the older generation, they just don't put anything into it, even though they've had a very full life that is worth taking that moment to acknowledge.
Sure, yeah.
So that was hard. And then the eulogy it was just, it weighed on me very heavily. And there's so much shit that goes into it. I'm the oldest grandchild. I'm his oldest son. There was a responsibility I felt like I had, and it's like writing a political speech almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what am I, like I wrote a lot about like what he did in the church, because the church was something that like all the grandkids had access to him with.
Yeah.
Like I didn't focus a lot. I focused on his work stuff because there was work people there, and plus it involved a lot of the rest of the family.
Sure.
I didn't get into a lot of, like, I could have did a biography about his naval history, like him serving on the other ships and all the other stuff, but that would only played to a very limited audience,
Yeah.
And I could have been up there for an hour.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And as it was, I don't even know how long it was. I mean to go back, but Kathy said it was like, yeah, it was kind of long.
See, I didn't think so. I thought it was kind of like just the right amount.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
I did say to Rick at the back of the church at one point, I was like, nobody's going to be honest with me anyway. So like,
well, what's funny is because, we've been doing this for so long. I saw many moments as you're doing that, podcast Daveisms coming out. Like my favorite part was when you were like turning a page and something fell,
right,
and you were like, ah! And then you're, we'll just put that anywhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly something Dave would say.
Yeah. The readings
fell
on the floor, I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah. But it was just a very podcast Dave thing to do. And then, just put that anywhere.
Kind of had to go into that mode just to be up there.
Mm-hmm. But it was good.
And I try not to. It's somebody had mentioned to me too, like when I was talking about how I was nervous about doing it, and
yeah, Kate, I think it was, because
like,
I was there when she was saying that.
It's like, yeah, you do the podcast. I'm like, it's different.
Yeah,
it's so different.
Yeah, because it's just right now it's you and me here. Even though we've got a lot of people watching on YouTube, it's not an audience of people all staring at you.
It's not an entire church with my father's dead body there, and it's just the and the last speech that he's ever going to get in his life.
Yeah,
it's like the amount of pressure in that situation just makes it different. It's just really different.
Mm-hmm.
So going up there and basically giving a lecture and trying not to give too much of a biography. And I'm going to say this. There spoke a lot about our life in that building growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that history was for the benefit of the priest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because we spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Like that was definitely the feeling I got.
Yeah, and it's something we said, and I joked with you because I was surprised you made it through the whole service, which I do really appreciate you being there.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
But the fact that you made it all the way through the church service, it's a building, and unfortunately, that's what it turned into for me. It's just a building.
Yeah.
It's a nice building, has a lot of history.
Yeah.
For a building that was built in 70s.
Yeah. I mean, I loved like the stained glass art and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was
architecturally, it's magnificent.
Yeah. And I've always been fascinated by just Catholicism in general, just because when I would go to church as a youngster, it was Protestant type thing, so very, very different. So
it's Episcopalian.
Yeah,
so it's Catholic light.
Okay,
so it's not it's still Protestant. It's just more. It's the closest thing to Catholic you get without being Catholic.
Oh,
it's the Diet Coke of Catholicism.
Okay, but yeah, like I've always been fascinated with it's kind of like processes and procedures, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, they have a very specific order and way of doing things, mm-hmm. and everybody knows when to chime in at the right time.
They do. And when the fucking order changes, it's like, what is happening right now?
Right.
Like, because Kathy would tell you that I am really annoying because I have, growing up, spending every fucking weekend in that building,
mm-hmm.
up at the altar, either as an altar boy or carrying the cross back and forth, and like just being there and absorbing it. I know every word of that fucking book, that black book.
Yeah.
And I can tell you when he did something different, I was saying it out loud.
Yeah.
I was saying the different thing out loud.
Right.
And my aunt, who was standing next to me, was like, laughing at me because I was like saying it.
Uh-huh.
Kathy was like just shaking her head because she can't stand it because I'm just like I'm saying it before the priest is saying it.
Oh.
And I looked at my aunt. I'm like, "Are we not doing that anymore?" And she's like, "No, sometimes it changes." I'm like, "God damn it!" Like because I have all this muscle memory for it.
Right.
But yeah, it's a it was a big part of our growing up. Was there. That was the core of our family. And then our family my grandparents lived right down the street from there. That's the only reason we went to that church, was because of my grandparents.
Okay.
Like that's generationally, that's the church that my grandfather went to, and then that's where everyone in the family went.
Yeah.
Aside from my Uncle John and his clan, they all, like, basically they're all Catholics. Like his wife is practicing Roman Catholic, so they're all like Catholic kids. So they never really went to grace, but everyone else did.
Yeah.
at some point or another. And it's just a place that has a lot of those memories. And so I felt like it was important to kind of use that as one of my talking points.
Yeah.
And
I really, again, having no prior knowledge, I really kind of felt that as you were talking and describing it and talking about the history and how he'd be up there, singing Christmas carols and everything. And it was I really felt like I got a bigger picture of your whole family, really.
Yeah. I appreciate that. That's what I was going for. But yeah, I don't think you could ever be ready to do something like that. But if I mentioned it to John, I think I had texted it to you too, maybe. But I know I had texted it to Vickers at some point, like writing something like the obituary and the eulogy. It's a lot, not the eulogy as much, but the obituary is a lot like writing a fucking performance report.
Yep.
In the military.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you were texting me that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Bulletizing things, and when you want to keep track of something that people have done in their lives, like if your parents are getting to that certain age where you have to start thinking about stuff like this, you're not stabbing them in the face by writing some notes down ahead of time. I think sometimes it's hard. You think if you start thinking like that, and then something happens, you're like, oh my God, I did it. No, you didn't.
No.
You didn't. It's not how the Force works. And you can't think that way, or else you'll never be prepared, and you'll never grieve properly.
Yeah.
And I know I haven't grieved properly. I mean, for me, it was like I had a mission. I had a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the reasons why I barely reached out to you at all this week. Not that I didn't care or anything, but I just had a feeling you were just fucking ass deep in fucking
it was
funeral prep and everything else.
It was busy. It was a busy week. It went by very, very fast. I can tell you that I didn't know what day it was most of the time, just because it just all of a sudden it was like, oh, today's a viewing.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, what? Yeah, it just time just blows by. But no plan survives first contact with the enemy. So you have to be prepared. And also here's the last thing I'll say about it. In a preparedness standpoint, you're not doing it by yourself, right?
Yeah.
My sister Kathy especially, like she's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the admin stuff for my parents. I'm more of a behind the scenes ops guy, like a lot like my father.
Yeah.
So I'm more than willing to do stuff like that, but you're not doing it alone. And if you try and do it alone, you're going to suffer more than anybody.
I would imagine, yeah.
So find somebody that's going to help you in some way. And, when it comes to the grieving process, grieve properly, I guess. I mean, I have.
How do you even do that?
I don't know. I have therapy tomorrow. So
Okay.
maybe she'll have some revelation for us all.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Tomorrow will be interesting.
Yeah.
But seek therapy, seek help, take the time you need to take.
Yeah.
And it's a suck salad. It really is. You're never going to be prepared for it. You can be administratively prepared, but you're never going to be emotionally prepared for it.
Yeah.
Not like you think you are. But if you're administratively prepared for it, the emotional part is a lot easier.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So
you're not dealing with the stress of trying to deal with the estate and everything else.
Yep. So anyway, enough about that. It's I can tell you right now that I still grieve my grandfather, and he passed away over 10 years ago.
Mm.
You know, that there's still pictures and things, and there's stuff that hits me for that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have the same thing with my father. I have the same thing with Rick's dad. It's just there.
No.
So 13 years ago. Thanks, Rick. In my brain, it doesn't feel like it's that long ago.
Yeah.
But that's it. I know it's going to happen. So it's like anything else. And since I know it's going to be there, you know, it won't surprise me.
Right.
It doesn't make it suck less, but at least you'll be, you know, a little bit more ready for it.
As ready as you can be, I guess.
Yeah. So the title of this episode really needs to be the most morbid episode out of 318 episodes of this podcast.
I know, right?
That we've ever done. But listen, we're in our late 40s, right? Our parents are getting older.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, like my mom was dealing with cancer recently. My dad had his bypass surgery last year.
Yep.
Or no, this year.
That's right. That was this year.
So it's happening. I mean, you know, as we're getting older, our parents are getting older, and
yep. Yeah, and it's like you said. You said it earlier. You know, it can happen anytime.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's just a reality that we have to deal with. Unfortunately, adulting sucks.
It does.
And you just have to, you know, time heals all wounds.
Yeah.
And the moral of the story is live life to the fullest. If you have the ability to, you know, keep food on your plate and a roof over your head, and you can still buy fucking Black Series figures that makes you happy, then fucking do that.
Yeah.
You know, the people, you know, some people that come up to me that were apologetic for not being able to attend things like the John, you know, you are where you need to be.
Yeah.
You know, in this situation, like I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who's reached out to me. You know, people from the podcast, Luna Girl, Don, a lot of friends and family that have reached out outside of social media to, you know, offer condolences and everything else. And it does mean something. It really does. I know it can seem like an empty gesture, but even just the gesture means something.
Sure, yeah.
Because that is somebody else that is at least thinking about you enough to leave something, social construct or not.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that. So there's something to that. But I appreciate the fact that, like, yeah, if you have shit going on in your life that you can't do something because you're going to be doing something fun, go do the fucking fun thing. Jesus.
Now, I hate to be the that guy, but this is all coming from the guy who just, you know,
dude, I said it.
Who thrives on stress and puts himself through.
What did I say in the fucking in the eulogy? I said I'm really, really good at giving the advice, not taking it.
Yeah, and your analogy, by the way, with the cups, you know, you're pouring your cup into somebody else's and not refilling your own. That was a great analogy,
dude. And I'll say it again for the benefit of the listening audience. This is Snoopy. And legitimately in the eulogy, I made mention of a quote that I thought of back in 2022, and it's on my it came across from wherever, and I put it in my phone at the moment. So it was, May 21st, 2022. Right. I typed this for whatever was going on in our lives at that point. I typed it out, that too often poured from his own cup without realizing his was empty.
Yeah. And I mean, that describes you pretty fucking well.
Yeah. Yeah. And he told me, even like on Thursday when I saw him for the last time, that this is something that I need to be better at doing, is not doing that.
Right.
Um,
Like he was saying
again,
this to about
me.
you.
He was saying it to me.
Right.
Again,
So he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about, okay.
right, because we are really good at fucking giving that advice, not actually taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier to solve other people's problems than it is from our perspective, right? From like my father, for me, for probably a lot of people, when I can solve a problem for you, then I get the satisfaction of solving that problem. I didn't do anything for me.
Right.
I got that momentary joy of solving that problem. But that's fleeting. Now I'm going to go find another problem to solve
Right.
and still not solve my own problem.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some psychological fucking thing that is.
Mm-hmm.
But, he had it and I got it. And like I said, I'm really good at fucking being the therapist, but I'm absolute shit at fucking following the advice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm giving you the advice. I'm telling you, the audience, right now, you need to fill your own cup, because that stress that you put on yourself because you just can't. You want to help everybody. You want to solve everyone's problems, and even though it's even bad when you know how to solve somebody's problem and you can't solve it for them.
Right. They won't listen to you or do what you want them to do.
It's not even like that implies like a control thing. It's more of a, hey, like I can help you. I can help you if you just would take this advice, or if you would, here's the solution to your problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want the solution to the problem. So now I have to watch you fail because you didn't want to solve your problem.
Mm-hmm.
You just wanted to fail. That's the way it seems anyway.
Right.
And that shit drives me fucking insane. Absolutely insane. And it puts a lot of fucking stress on me.
Yeah.
So that's, that's my own failing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Make sure your own cup is full before you pour into somebody else's. Except for me, I'm not going to do that.
Of course not.
My cup's like the fucking. It's the cup from the Last Crusade.
Right.
It's just fucking yeah. It's magical. Just pour it out, put your lips on it, whatever. Wait, what? Don't put your lips on it. Don't do that. Anyway, that's enough. Enough of that.
All right.
For enough of that for tonight. I'm sure it'll come up again, but yeah.
All right.
Hopefully people are still. Hopefully people are still with us.
Yeah. Well, so should we keep things on a more serious note, or should we pivot to
what do you want to talk about?
Some more lighthearted stuff. I mean, we got things.
What's your serious?
Well, I mean, this is something that I was considering talking about on the pod, and I was never sure. So, because we're getting close to my birthday, which will mark the 1-year anniversary of my mental breakdown that I had last year.
Right.
That I really haven't talked to many people about at all. But this kind of goes back to the whole, if you're hurting, if you're dealing with depression or whatever, mourning, and you feel like you've reached a breaking point, then you need to seek some help. And there's no shame in that.
Right.
And don't let it get to a point where you kind of, blow up and, almost take yourself out, we'll just say.
Right.
Because, that's where I was last year, and we had talked about it on the pod, because like after I retired, it was like, a month or two of like, great. Oh yeah, I'm out of the Air Force. This is great. And then kind of sort of hitting this wall where it's like, well, fuck, I feel like I have no purpose anymore. Right. I remember specifically saying that. And then, it was this combination of the seasonal shit, the short days and the cold and everything else, on top of, this post-retirement depression I was getting into. And then just, well, what I found out later after therapy and everything else was, a lot of stress, post-traumatic stress that I received during my time in the military and potentially even before that. And you know, it all kind of came to a head, and it all culminated on my birthday for some reason.
Right.
But you know, it was like I was already severely depressed. Like I was bad. And like it was this string of things that happened over a couple of days where I think like one day Kristen and I had an argument, and then the next day, like, oh, I remember what happened. So yeah, I'm like super depressed. Kristen and I get into an argument on like the 19th or the 20th, and I'm like really dwelling on it. It was like something really insignificant too, but it was building, and like shit at work was not going well. I was super depressed, and it all kind of boiled over. And one day I'm home. That's right. This is on my birthday, right? So I get home from work that day. You know, Kristen's at work. Boys are off doing their own thing. I'm just fucking stressed and depressed and everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to play the guitar for a while, because this is when I had my acoustic guitar that I was playing on mostly.
Right.
And I come out here and I'm like, okay, get my guitar thing set up, and I'm tuning it first, right? And like one of the knobs like wouldn't turn. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I put a little bit of pressure on it, and the whole thing fucking snapped, and the string fucking broke. That was it. Like I fucking smashed the shit out of that guitar. I fucking stormed out. And at this point, I'm like, I'm just going to stop at a liquor store, buy a fucking bottle of booze, go to the grocery store next door, buy a fucking bottle of sleeping pills, and this is it. Like, that's literally what I was telling myself as I'm driving. I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And something happened. We were talking about it again on the pod, the military crisis line.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm sitting there in the parking lot of the fucking liquor store, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what they say, because you know it's either that or I'm gonna be dead in an hour. And I called it, and I'm a fucking blubbering idiot. I'm just like sobbing, and I just and the guy's like, hey man, like trust me, because he was a Marine, and he's like, trust me, dude, we've all been there. It fucking sucks. And you know, through a lot of conversation back and forth, he convinced me to go to the emergency room, and I did. And they immediately admitted me to the mental health facility, and I stayed there for 3 nights, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and that was kind of the start of my recovery. I was seeing a psychiatrist every day while I was in there. That's when I started my antidepressants and my psychotic medication. And, you know, they told me I had to see a therapist at this point. Like, we won't let you go until you have an appointment with a therapist. And, you know, you can guarantee us that you're going to be okay and everything. So yeah, I left. I think it was on Christmas Day. I think I was released. And, yeah, and everything started to change after that. Like, it took a while to get the dosages of my medication right, but once they did, like, it was night and day. Like, this fucking just angry, bitter, depressed, just fucking person that I was before eventually just completely went away. And like, I am in such a better place now.
Yeah.
Like a year later, it's again night and day. I feel like I'm a completely different person at this point. In fact, when we were in Vegas, my youngest son, Ben, at one point just randomly looked up at me and he said, Dad, you seem so much happier now. Like back in the old days, like if something like this had happened because we like had a delay somewhere during our travels, he's like, you'd have been mad, you'd have been upset. He's like, but you smile all the time now. You're never angry anymore. And that really, really hit me.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy fuck. So
yeah. And you know what too? It's when you have those moments, like you know, look, the medication is necessary, right?
Yeah.
And
for years, I didn't believe in that either.
Right.
Like, I always thought it was a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
100% wrong.
Yeah, it's necessary. And I'll be in a situation where I'm like, how am I not losing my absolute mind right now?
Yeah.
Right? How am I, like, because there's that little thing inside me that's like, instead of the explosion that ordinarily would happen, there's just this little enunciator, a little bit ball that just changed. And I'm just like, even a few years ago, you would have just fucking lost it.
Mm-hmm.
You would have just lost it. And it's in those moments, like, I have my little rants on the show and everything else. And I still,
you can still channel that anger sometimes.
I still, when I'm under a lot of stress, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's exhausting being me because I do dumb shit and put too much on myself. But when those moments happen and I can look at it and go like, that is why I take this medication every day. That's why, even though I'm still in pain and because I have a bunch of pain shit that I got to deal with every fucking day.
Yeah, like physical pain.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still in pain. I'm still going through all this bullshit. And I go through these periods where this fucking medication doesn't work and I don't want to take any of these pills and blah, 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 blah. But then I'll have a moment like that where instead of losing my absolute mind, that I'm controlled, I can make a good decision about something and it not turn into this horrific moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's why I take the medication. That's why I go to therapy. And that's it. That's why. So it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it. And it sucks to have to get to the point where it's like, okay, this is the last phone call.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God you made that phone call.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So many people don't, and that's the toughest part. Like, Luna Girl put in the chat the 988 number.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Like 988, and you hit one right away, and boom, it goes right to the military crisis line.
Yeah, and I mean that's literally what saved me, because I was
and we
ready.
did we had on the podcast we had a conversation, a fairly deep conversation about like mental health stuff because I was talking about my stuff,
mm-hmm.
and that's one of the reasons I was fairly open about my stuff. In hopes that it would help you, honestly, and, it helps. If it helps somebody out there too, it's fucking awesome. But it was as much for you as it was for anybody. But it still had to get down to the, it has to get through the hard shell.
Yeah.
Of us being us.
Yeah.
Before it gets to the.
Yeah, it's the man thing. Like I'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll bury it deep down inside,
mm-hmm.
and it'll never come back until the moment when it fucking does.
Yeah, and it brings everything else with it.
Yeah. Speaking of, oh my God, I'm going to destroy my psychiatrist unless my psychologist can talk me out of it.
That's a funny statement. You should open the pod with that.
That should be
clip that out and put it at the start of the audio.
I'm going to destroy my psychiatrist unless my psychologist talks me out of it. I'm sure people have said that.
Yeah.
Somebody has put those words in a sentence.
I don't know. Maybe.
I can't possibly have been the only one.
Yeah. That was good though. But yeah, and they're talking in the chat, like especially our generation, man. We were just supposed to suck it up. Everything. You get physically hurt, you get mentally hurt, whatever. Just suck it up. Get up and keep going.
What the fuck is a concussion? Get up.
Yeah.
Are you throwing up? Did you pass out? Are you bleeding? How bad are you bleeding?
Right.
Like, shut the fuck up. Just go. Fucking do it.
Like I remember like a lot of the adults in my life, that was their go-to. Like, are you bleeding?
Yeah.
And
like,
when somebody
well,
would,
how bad are you bleeding?
Right.
Because there's always blood.
Yeah.
I mean, duh. Yes. Okay. Yes, it's bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a white person with thin skin. Yes, I fucking bleed when I do things. Yeah, it's fucking. Anyway.
No, the whole point that I wanted to make was, there is no shame in seeking help. And like you said, don't fucking wait to the very end because, you may not have it in you to make that call. You may just, I don't know. But, don't let it get to the boiling point.
Yeah, Rick, why are you crying? I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah. that was our upbringing.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
It had to come back, around at some point.
Yeah, there's it had to do some damage.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Yeah, there was no way we were getting out of that unscathed. So
anyway,
yeah,
let's an hour and a half into this. Let's bump this up a little.
All right.
Let's
well, so we got Christmas coming up, right?
yes.
And I was thinking about
Christmas, your birthday, like
good
things.
Well, it's something that we all care about,
Right.
Christmas. And you think about memories, you think about our upbringing, right?
Right.
And I started thinking about like, what were some of my favorite Christmas moments growing up?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple.
Okay.
And I was curious if you had some as well.
I mean, I think one of them in particular is not in particular, but in general, was driving around for Christmas lights.
Oh yeah,
And so
we used to do that too.
Yeah, so I talked about it in the eulogy, like after the the service on Christmas Eve, like we drive through Haddonfield, and there was a house in Haddonfield which allegedly was owned by a mobster. Right?
Of course.
So, and when you're driving, I don't know what road it is. I know I've driven on the road a fucking 1,000 times, but I don't know the name of the road.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're going down the road, the house is like super recessed onto the property in Haddonfield.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had all this front yard. He would have like this extremely good light display, right?
Yeah.
It's like every year it got better and better. And then he started having live fucking nativity
Really?
with camels. Like have fucking camels and fucking sheep and all this other fucking shit.
Where do you get a camel in New Jersey?
Dude. So you would fucking drive by and people would stop to fucking come out and like interact with this fucking live nativity.
Yeah.
And I drove by after the funeral, because by the time we, cleaned up and everything, it was dark. I drove by that. I took that route deliberately and drove by that house. I was so disappointed. There's no Christmas lights on it whatsoever. That same house, and thought about that. The fucking live nativity with the fucking camels and sheep and all this other fucking
Are we
bullshit.
talking in like the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s. I'm probably we're late 80s. But yeah. I mean, this house did it up. They had fucking cranes. Like, dude.
Damn.
Every fucking year it went big. So then every other house in that neighborhood, like, would try to at least come close.
Right.
You imagine
right.
being that neighbor, like worse than the Griswolds.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like, be that neighbor that's got a like, oh hey, this guy's got a live fucking nativity. The fuck are we gonna do?
Right.
Like I'd be the one with the fucking ditto, like burp,
Yeah.
ditto point.
Yeah, because you can't even come close to that.
No.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that you would have to spend just to house camels at some point. You got to put them to bed at some point. Nobody's going to drive by at 3 a.m. So they'll probably put them in some sort of stable.
Right.
Oh yeah, dude, it was a whole thing, man.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Sidebar. Do you think camels evolved to have the humps in their back because people would ride them all the time?
Had nothing to do with riding.
No.
I think they evolved because they have to store water in such a way that it doesn't like evaporate due to their metabolism.
Okay, I'll go with that. I was just thinking about that. Somebody riding a camel. I'm like, wait a minute, because he can kind of fit perfectly between the two humps.
Not all camels have 2 humps.
No?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Only certain camels have 2 humps.
How do you know all this?
Dude. How do I know a lot of things? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just there.
You're just a well of just knowledge
of
that
just
random shit.
random shit. Yes, a lot of random shit. This is a Martin trait.
Yeah.
There is a lot of random shit in there
Mhm.
that can come to recall in weird times.
Yeah.
So,
so you did bring up like my birthday and Christmas. I actually did not dislike having my birthday 4 days away from Christmas. I know a lot of people would always ask me when they found out what my birthday was, oh, didn't it suck for Christmas? And, I kind of play along, oh, yeah. I'd get combined Christmas and birthday presents all the time from people, which I would. But I really didn't dislike it because it was kind of like the start of that 2 weeks, because I don't know why they only do like a week here in New Jersey, but in California, you get 2 full weeks off for a Christmas vacation, sometimes like 2.5.
Well, when did you start school?
Oh, start school way earlier than the kids here.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you have like a true winter break.
Yeah.
Like we start in New Jersey, you start school later
Mhm.
because it's if you start school too early, well, I think 80s.
Yeah.
Like when we started school, there was no fucking air conditioning.
Yeah.
So you'd be sweltering hot still. I mean, even in September, you still be pretty fucking hot here.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you're getting to that cooler weather. Hello.
You heard that too?
Palpatine just fell.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, so in September, around Labor Day is when it starts getting cooler. So you don't have to worry about air conditioning for everybody because fucking schools, these old ass schools around here didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So you
that's
start
true.
later, and then when you get to the winter break, you have a winter break and a summer break, or a spring break, and then you have a longer summer vacation.
Right.
You probably had a shorter summer vacation too.
Probably. Yeah. But for me, so like the Christmas vacation would always start around like the 18th, 19th, right? So it would start a couple of days before my birthday. So it was then just 2 weeks of just awesomeness, right? Because we don't have fucking school for 2 weeks. Then my birthday's in a couple of days. And then as soon as my birthday's over, fucking Christmas is in a couple of days. And then, New Year's, like we always either had a New Year's party or went to somebody's house who had a New Year's party. So it was seriously like a 2.5 week, just fucking best time of your life as a young kid in elementary school. So yeah, no, my birthday being close to Christmas was just fine for me because it was, all part of that 2-week season of Christmas and gifts and everything.
Yeah, Bronco Fit didn't have the same same
No.
level of engagement.
It's too bad. Well, because yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
No, we have a nephew that was born right around Christmas. I think either just before or just after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious how he feels about it because we always do. Like his mom always goes through, like it's Kathy's sister's kid,
Mm-hmm.
and she always makes sure that there's like an extra like gathering. There's extra like an effort.
Yeah,
Because his birthday was so close to Christmas. So I think it's the same type of experience that you're getting because you're like, okay, here's a big deal for your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christmas is another big deal.
Yeah.
So he probably has more of an experience like you as opposed to Bronco Fett who got coal and then we get a birthday present or vice versa.
Right.
I don't know if you got coal, Bronco
Yeah.
Fett. Just saying.
And thinking back, oh, hold on, Kristen texted me. I hope I did it right.
What the fuck?
Oh. What the Helmet Fire's talking about elephant dung balls?
Even odder is that he was the reigning champion for throwing frozen elephant dung balls.
Okay.
But so what it started was his mom used to volunteer at a zoo, so he had lots of camel information because he was schooling everybody in camels. He was talking about the back train and
Wow.
yeah. But
No wonder you get along with him so well.
But his brain is a fucking steel trap, worse than mine.
So, real quick sidebar. Kristen just texted me. So earlier, before we started the show, I started a load of laundry. Well, I actually moved the laundry from the washer to the dryer, and I asked her to, can you handle the stuff in the dryer when it's done? Because I'll be doing the pod. And I stressed, like, my Purdy jersey's in there. Make sure you immediately take it out and hang it up, right?
Uh-huh.
And she texts me this, and she asks, did I do it right? So she intentionally hung the Purdy jersey upside down and sent me that picture, asking if she did it right. That's good stuff.
I mean, maybe if you don't want the shoulders to get all jacked up.
Yeah.
Speaking of jerseys, I'm wearing. There is an important Eagles game tonight.
That's right.
One of the reasons that's right.
Which this is your comeback, the start of your comeback, right?
That's what she said.
My penis so smooth.
Whether or not Jalen Hurts plays, like I don't need to see Marcus Mariota tonight. I really don't.
Yeah.
I hope whatever. Jalen Hurts is fucking allergic to Monday Night Football. Is really what it comes down to.
You think so?
Every Monday night he's fucking had to start in, he's been sick. Every fucking Monday night.
Wow.
He's allergic to Monday Night Football.
Apparently.
It's fucking weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm wearing my this is the
There you go. Stick out your ass. Do some twerking.
this is
I don't know what's going on.
no, this is my Harold Carmichael Hall of Fame Mitchell and Ness throwback
Very nice.
from 1980. One of the original Kelly Greens for in honor of the dad and his, and my Facebook profile picture, and I've talked about this before on a pod, but the very first Eagles jersey I got was a Harold Carmichael jersey, so I'm wearing that one today.
Nice.
I didn't wear it for the fucking Cowboys game that they fucking lost on that day that he passed, but that was a bad day, no matter what. So
yeah, it's just
So-
forget about that one.
forget about that day. It's fine.
because thankfully the Cowboys fucking are just the worst. They're the worst fucking team. They beat up on these fucking weak ass teams. They're like, yeah, we're the fucking best. We're Dak's MVP, blah blah. And then they face a real team. They got beat by the Eagles earlier in the season. Then they got trounced by the Niners. Yes, they evened it with the Eagles, but they always split the games in the season.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, we're fucking badass, and we're coming for the top seed. They go into Buffalo and they get their asses beat.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Buffalo finally went like, oh, hey, if we run the ball and then it works, and you know what? Let's keep doing that.
Yeah. Hey,
Let's just keep doing that.
hey, coach, when you hand me the ball, they're not tackling me.
All right.
We should just keep doing that.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not like the offensive coordinator. We're not gonna like just pretend we're smarter than everybody and then like make plays that make 3 and outs
Yeah.
like every time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Bills firing their offensive coordinator is one of those things. Dude, speaking of football. All right. So, he's wearing his Purdy fucking
right.
His number 13.
MVP Purdy. Now it's probably gonna be McCaffrey.
You think?
Mm-hmm. I think he's gonna win it this year.
You do?
Yeah.
Not that he's not deserving. I think they're going to give it to Lamar, but
Well, we'll see what happens on Christmas Day.
yeah, let's see it. Fuck, what was I going to say? Shit, what were we talking about?
Well, you were wearing your Kelly Green, and then
Fuck. Oh no, football. Damn it, Jason.
fantasy football.
No, God, I don't want to talk about fantasy football. Shit. I don't know. Talk about something else. It'll come back.
Okay, well, I mean, we can stick with the football and just talk about how the Niners killed the Cardinals this weekend, and they're in the driver's seat for the top seed. So,
Right.
which would be fantastic, getting the 1 seed in the NFC.
Bye, Rick.
Most of the
Thank you.
most of the talking heads are saying that they're the best team, but I don't think that really means anything. They need to clinch that home field. That's
Yes.
yes.
I want to see the Niners Eagles play again. I really do. So what I was thinking is I was watching football on Sunday, and they were showing the Browns. Who is the Browns playing? I fucking
This last weekend.
yeah. It's Browns and somebody, right?
Yeah.
So the Browns,
Joe Flacco.
right?
Yeah.
Pride of South Jersey, Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
grew up right down, like literally 10 minutes from where we're sitting right now. 15 minutes because of traffic.
Yeah.
So there was a particular angle of a ball that he threw that the camera just had this perfect angle. And I'm watching him throw this pass, and it was such a good sight picture for if you're a quarterback to show you that when you're throwing and leading a receiver, how you're supposed to throw the fucking football. Like I wanted, it was that the old football coach in me wanted so badly to fucking take that and like go show it to fucking every quarterback I ever coached. Like, look at this fucking picture and see how, I mean, because the camera was behind Flacco and they showed him throwing it to just dead space, right? With defenders like here and here, and he's throwing it dead space and the fucking receivers coming this way. And he's like, he knew exactly what the route was, and he threw it to exactly where it needed to be. And it like the camera had the direct shot to where he was throwing it. And the ball was here. Right? It was like maybe a yard out of his hand. Right? And there was no space. It was dead space. Like, so, you get, if you're ever coaching kids, it's really tough to get them to throw to an empty spot because they have issues with,
right. They want to throw it to where the guy is right now.
And even at the upper levels, like you start cheating a little bit towards, because you're seeing what the player's doing and you're like, oh shit, I gotta get it more towards them. And that's why you get the ball away from the sideline, or you're coming off the route and now you're forcing the receiver to adjust to the ball, and that's when bad things happen. So you have to trust the fact that this is the route, this is the spot, and you need to throw to that spot. Does it always work? No. But that fucking angle, it was just, I looked at it, I was like, look at that. That's fucking perfect.
It was more like,
Right. It just, and the fact that Flacco did it, like this guy who just happened to be in the right place at the right time to win a fucking Super Bowl and then cash in on it. Right. Again, pride of South Jersey, pride of Audubon, New Jersey, the Audubon Green Waves. That's the mascot for Audubon High School.
Okay. Green Waves?
They're the Green Waves. Why? No idea.
What does the mascot look like?
I have no idea. We would swim against them, right? And there's like, okay, Green Waves. Does it have to do with your swim team? And their swim team was terrible every time. It was like, you think, oh, it's Green Waves, they should have good swimmers, right? Because as humans, we make this ridiculous association, right?
Yeah.
We have this uncanny ability to associate our language with something physical that has no business being associated. Right? There's so many things that we're like, oh well, I'm going to associate this, and then that's the truth. Like Green Wave, there has to have something to do with the ocean or good swimmers or something. It could have nothing to do with any of that.
Right.
And like it
just sounds cool.
Right. I have no idea. And if you're at Audubon High School or whatever, you can all yell at me later, but yeah, it's anyway, that's where Flacco's from. He's from down the street.
Yeah.
From here.
He's playing like he's 25 again.
He's doing something. He threw 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, something like
his
that.
Plus minus is not great, but
yeah.
Hey, he's getting it done right now for the Browns. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That'll be funny. That'll be funny if they actually make a run.
That would be fun. That'd be fucking hilarious. But
yeah.
he would get Big Dick Nick status.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. Who do you think is the best team in the AFC now? Do you think it's the Ravens, or do you think it's still the Chiefs?
I think right now it's the Ravens. I think the Chiefs, there's something, I don't know if it's the offensive line or something, but the Chiefs just are not, they're just not clicking.
It's Taylor Swift.
You
This is the distraction of her.
Is it? She's jumping up like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Look, I said it today to Rob, the guy I work with. When they were showing it on Good Morning Football, you got this Taylor Swift reacting. She's got her Chiefs sweats on.
Mm-hmm.
The more this goes, the longer this goes, the happier it makes me. Like, there's this part of me that just, I like the Kelsey brothers. I do. Jason Kelsey is just, to me, one of the best human beings on the planet.
Yeah.
And his brother, like, I want nothing but the best for either of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this is still a thing, to me, actually means something. Like, it had like a month. It had a month of like, okay, this is like this novelty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh, here's a picture of them driving off in their car or doing whatever, right?
Yeah.
We've almost cycled past the novelty. Like, yes, she's still fucking, she's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right. And here she is in the fucking stands rooting on, Travis.
Yeah.
So it's still a thing. Just like when Chris Christie's in the fucking booth with fucking Jerry Jones.
Yeah. And the fucking networks are going to put her on every time she's in a fucking stadium.
Sure.
That's going to get more eyes on on their channel.
Yeah.
So
because it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She's like the most popular female on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, at least in the United States. I say the planet. We have a global audience. There could be a more popular female on the planet. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift, she's up there.
Yeah. She's kind
certainly
of
one of the
deal.
richest motherfuckers in the world. I
Right.
can tell you that right now.
Yeah. But I remember a lot of people complaining, like, why are they showing Taylor Swift so much? And blah, blah, blah. It's because it's going to bring them more viewers, dipshit.
I like it. And the longer it goes, the more valid it seems to me.
Mhm.
So keep it coming. Like, I don't have any skin in this game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. And from what I get from, like, unfortunately, I download the New Heights podcast. I don't listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
I catch like a lot of the highlights because I just don't listen to other podcasts.
Yeah.
I download a lot of podcasts. I subscribe to all of you. All of you that support us, I download every one of your podcasts. And sometimes I even play them while I'm not listening. So that you can get the hit. I do that for you. I hope you do that for us. Download, even if you don't listen.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, do all that bullshit. But Jason Kelsey's wife, like, is one of the real people, is like an actual person as opposed to like
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
And she makes it seem like it's more legitimate to me.
Yeah.
So again,
yeah, I never thought it was fake either. Like,
do I really what?
I don't know.
What did I say?
Probably believe that it's real.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do. So keep showing it.
Yeah.
Like, if she's supporting her man, go for it.
Yeah.
That's cool. She's another famous person. They're going to show famous people in the booth.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And when she's fucking jumping up, dropping the F-bomb, I just think that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Get into it.
What the fuck?
Because honestly, she's the, she's in the greater Philadelphia area. She's a product of the greater Philadelphia area. So, dropping an F-bomb that checks.
Yeah. All right. Before we start wrapping this up, do you want to talk some 2024?
Sure.
All right. Well, first, I mean, we got very little Star Wars content coming in 2024.
Right.
That's officially announced. We have no dates for anything. Though, did you see that they're doing that Mace Windu book?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I put that in the Facebook group. I don't remember when that was. Probably around the time of your dad, so I can understand why you didn't see it.
Right.
But yeah, they're coming out with a new Mace Windu book that I guess is taking place during the time of the prequels, and the premise sounds pretty cool, so we may have to cover that on the show. Oh, and I do want to attack the rest of the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy for the show.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we got to the first book. By the end, it was worth it after, slogging through some of the slower parts. And I'd like to finish the trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down for that.
Yeah. But yeah, podcast wise, I had one other thing somewhere in the notes.
There's a couple of big anniversaries that are coming up again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get a show together with the Skate Pod guys.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Yep. Excuse me. Man, I have to take a leak. I'm trying to hold it so bad. I have several of your notes written in January's calendar for you. Oh, Godfather 2.
Well, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Some people say it was even better than the first.
Yes, they would say that. Rebel Moon hype. Jason mentioned something to me earlier about that.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Right.
Yeah, so I was super hyped for Rebel Moon, as we've talked about on the show, and it's coming out in a few days. And some early reviews are coming in because some critics got a hold of it or went to some premiere, and it's not good. Yeah, so the highest current critic score is a 60% out of 100. Snyder's passion project risks becoming subsumed by its own self-importance, but delivers bombastic mayhem and grandiose visuals by the bucket load. That's the best review. This one from the BBC, nothing exciting happens. There are no challenges to meet, no obstacles to overcome, no Death Stars to destroy. Then we get down to 20% by the Guardian. Going mad with power should be at least very fun, exhilarating in the indulgence of an artist's most outlandish whims. Instead, Snyder would be magnum opus is merely boring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe it's multi-parts, right? So
right. It's two movies.
Right. So maybe it's building on something else.
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah. So am I.
And I'll make my own judgment because I've differed from the critics in the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still gonna try it. And if you still want to cover it on the show, we can make that our
no, we absolutely have to.
Our
if for nothing else, because even if everyone else hates it, then we have to like figure out why people hate it. So
yeah.
And if we also don't like it, then we can trash it. But
that is true. Those always make good episodes.
Yeah. We could trash the critics.
Yeah.
I think in 2024, they mentioned Dune 2 is coming out.
Oh yeah.
So that's big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's a Lego Dune fucking ornithopter.
Oh
that
shit.
I want so fucking bad.
Is it like a big set?
It's big. It's probably
The Naboo starfighter?
Yeah, it's probably about that and a half
Okay.
long.
Okay.
And it has the big wings.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, that looks so fucking good. Apparently they put like so much little detail into it, like with how the wings move and everything. Oh my god. Yes, I want it so bad.
Nice.
So what I'll be doing before Dune 2 comes out, or the Dune Part 2, is rereading Dune, obviously, because that's what you do.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can get through Dune fairly quickly. For the fucking, I don't know, 650th time I've probably read that book.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's kind of disturbing. But yeah, I'm so stoked.
I'm so mad, and we talked about this when we talked about the first Dune. I'm just so mad I missed seeing that in theaters. Ugh. That would have been incredible. Like on IMAX.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
What else was the other thing? So we got Rebel Moon.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Dune Part 2.
Yep.
We've got there's another big Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction came out in 94.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. We got to talk about that. 94.
94.
There it is. I don't have it in me to do Brokaw tonight. Sorry, people. Yeah, so we got Pulp Fiction.
That's gonna be a big one.
That's obviously huge.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, everything that came out in 94.
94.
Because it would have an anniversary.
Yes, Pulp Fiction was on there.
Oh, then that means Forrest Gump as well, because those two came out around the same time.
Oh yeah, you got to do Forrest Gump. You got to do Forrest Gump. We have the Forrest Gump soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh,
We
that was a
gotta
good
do.
soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important one.
Mm.
Shit. There's another big one next year that we have coming up.
Like a movie anniversary?
I don't know if it was a movie anniversary or if it was just something that we talked about we were going to do next year.
I'm sure it'll come.
We got to
to
get
us.
into that fucking that Comic-Con thing. Did you do any research into that?
No.
Jason, if I forward it to your Steam Deck, will you will you research it?
Sure. If you do that, I'll research it.
Like, how can I somebody give me some Linux coding so I can push a reminder to Jason's Steam Deck? Challenger?
The space shuttle? Was that 84?
Maybe, but we already did a Challenger.
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, because we talked about that
was 86.
The series, the Netflix series.
Yeah, Challenger was in 86.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was in 86. That's a core memory.
Yeah.
Fuck. Why can't I remember, Jason?
I don't know.
Jonathan Majors has officially been fired from Disney.
I saw that he was convicted earlier. I guess Disney's gotten rid of him.
Who's Jonathan Majors?
So he's the guy who is he was played Kang in one of the new Avengers things. And he was going to be the big bad guy in the next like big Avengers movies, kind of the way fucking Glove Guy was in the last one.
Glove Guy.
Yeah, but apparently he beats up his girlfriends and all that. So he was just convicted today, and yeah, Disney officially cut ties with Jonathan Majors.
Oh, well, good. Honestly, they can't afford to have that kind of negative publicity.
No,
honestly.
Jesus,
They really can't.
So, yeah, that'll change some of their future plans, but I mean,
Yeah, whatever. To just put somebody else in there. I mean, most of that's CGI anyway.
yeah.
Fuck, I can't fucking remember, dude.
I don't know.
Oh, they had the presidential election in there.
Oh yeah. So if we were like running low on topics, I was gonna ask you like, what do you think legit is gonna happen in the presidential elections next year?
Dude, I like when I saw it there and I put a couple of brain bites to it, and I legitimately don't have any fucking idea.
Yeah.
Like, without getting into a political dissertation about like anything, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah. Yeah, and it transcends any one political topic. It's just
a
the
fucking shit
the
show.
state of politics in general is.
I feel like I'm watching a movie of what bad politics is.
Yeah.
Shawshank.
That came out in 94?
94.
That was a great movie.
That is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
I think, like, let me verify. Lunar, I trust you, Lunar Girl, but I need to see it.
He's got to know.
Trust but verify. Shawshank, 1994.
94.
94.
All right.
Thank God that's on there.
Yeah.
The Crow.
I didn't like The Crow. I mean, it's been, 30 years since I've seen it, but
I don't know.
the one time I saw it, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Airheads.
I love that movie.
It was
Oh
fucking
my
funny.
God. I love that movie so much.
Brendan Fraser classic.
Yeah.
Stargate.
I've never seen that.
You never seen Stargate?
No.
God, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Dude, we should do Stargate.
Okay.
Put that on the books. Somebody write that down.
Yeah.
The Crow was known for its soundtrack, I think. More people were into it because of the soundtrack than they were because of the movie itself.
Right. And the whole Brandon Lee dying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because
Like honestly, like if he hadn't been killed on set, nobody would remember that fucking movie.
I think it still would have been known for the soundtrack, honestly. But
Okay, that's fair.
because it was a good soundtrack. But Stargate is one of those. I think if we're using the movie spawned an entire like I don't know almost a decade of
like TV shows, right?
TV. Yeah. I mean that TV show lasted a long time.
Yeah, and weren't there was more than one, right? There were a couple of different Stargate shows
And spin-offs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, I think Stargate's worthwhile because there's a lot of people that are into it.
Oh, fuck, Clerks.
Clerks is the big one.
I mean, yeah.
That's the biggie.
Yep.
That's one of the mother load. So,
yeah, that's a given.
It's a given. It's a given.
Yeah.
94.
But I'll give you my very quick prediction about the presidential thing. Okay. So I think it's going to be Nikki Haley getting the Republican nomination, and I think
I'd vote for her.
And I think it's probably going to be another super fucking close one, but I could see her winning, especially if they debate. There's a lot of people theorizing right now that Biden is not going to do any debates during the election season. For obvious reasons.
Because reasons.
Yeah. So I don't know. So if he doesn't debate, I think she'll beat him in a landslide. But if he does and he's actually somewhat competent on stage the way he was against Trump, he might have a chance of winning again.
Yeah. Helmet Fire says pilgrimage for Clerks.
I mean, yeah.
And that came out in October of 94.
Nice.
94.
Yeah, no, we're it's a little bit of everything. Smirking Bear, he mentioned like what's with the politics talk. I thought this was
it's going into the new year like because 2024's got a lot of shit.
Yeah. And who the fuck knows? We might be at war with China by then.
Oh, highly doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know. From the seat that I sit in every day, I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else? What the fuck else was 94?
94.
I don't know.
9.
Well, that was the year you graduated, right? Yeah. I could keep doing that. I apologize. This is all Dave.
94.
Makes me happy.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
It's funny every time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I don't know what else. What other big things would be ending in a 4 or a 9? I guess, right? Because if it's the 25th anniversary of something,
Oh,
then it could be.
that's right.
We have to figure that one out.
Oh my God.
Somebody has to do that math.
So that means we'll be 25 years removed from 1999 and all the Y2K stuff.
Right.
A quarter of a century already away from
Oh.
that.
Wow. We could totally talk about the Y2K thing.
Oh my God, that was
I made a living off of Y2K.
yeah.
For a hot minute.
I actually had one device that did not survive Y2K.
Well,
survive not means it didn't fully function properly after
that's
that.
hilarious.
I'll save that story for if we do an episode about that.
Dude, Y2K was a fucking thing.
Fucking computers with Y2K compliant stickers on them.
Yeah. The company I work for, we'll do a fucking spoiler for that episode if we do it. But the company I worked for, they would charge another company like, okay, we're going to make your computer Y2K compliant. So we take the computer out of the box. Sometimes. Or we position it in the box so that we could put the Y2K sticker on it. Put the sticker on it. Put it back in the box. Put a little piece of paper on the top telling you it's Y2K compliant. Put the tape back on it. Full send.
Wow.
Because like there were machines like Compaq, like we were like this was when build to order was big, right?
Yeah.
So we were build to order machines for Dell, Compaq, and Hewlett Packard, right? I was warranty certified for all three of those. And we would get machines that were already Y2K compliant,
Right.
but they didn't have stickers on them. So they would come through, we'd put a sticker on them with a little note that says, hey, your computer's Y2K compliant, goes out the door. We loved it because we would actually get a credit for a system because we had to do 13 systems a fucking day or else we had to talk to 5 different bosses.
Right.
So we loved getting a Y2K thing because even the hardest Y2K job was you took it out of the box, had to plug it in, and you threw in a floppy disk and fucking booted up off this floppy. It ran 3 lines of code, and then it was done. You put it back in the fucking box with a sticker and a note,
Right.
and then you're done. Like it never even opens the operating system. So that company made a fucking fortune off of Y2K.
Yeah.
For the minimal amount of effort that they actually put into it.
Sterling Azure is trying to call.
Hey, John, you're on the show.
You should put him on speaker.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to put you on speaker. What do you know?
Hi, John.
If you put me on speaker, then I'm gonna have to listen to myself
Yep.
when I listen to the pod later.
Yep.
Come on, man. Nobody wants to hear that.
Oh, guess what?
All right.
It's already happened.
Well, I'll keep it short. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, John? Or
Good.
Sterling?
Yeah. All that.
Come on, John. This isn't very entertaining for the people.
Yeah. You're stuck in a walking traffic, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. I'll hit you up when we're done.
See ya.
All right. See ya.
Good times.
This is the part of the show when Dave accepts a call during the live stream.
Oh, that was something else I wanted to talk about. So at the service, well, first of all, as soon as I got to,
I know what you're going to talk about. Go ahead.
well, so the first thing that happens is as soon as I walk in, who do I see? Cousin Rick.
Right.
He's the first face I see that I know. So
Right.
so he leads me in, and then I bumped into Kate and her boyfriend,
Right.
the Jason Mantzoukas lookalike,
Right.
and so I finally met.
The rocket scientist.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And, I'm like, oh, I heard a lot about you and all that. So
I'm sure he awkwardly said, ha ha,
yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
yeah. No, he seemed cool though. But
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, I see you on like social media all the time. Dave talks about you all the time. So
Nice.
yeah.
Now, so a couple other funny things happened during we're coming full circle back to the funeral. Funny things during the funeral. One thing was, this was after the eulogy, the guy's up there doing his sermon, and outside
Oh yeah.
there was somebody, like, I legitimately thought there was a fucking parade happening.
That's what I thought.
There was, like, it was so fucking loud. It sounded like somebody was having a salsa parade outside of the fucking church windows.
Yeah, like right outside.
Right there. It was so fucking, like, you can hear it. Like, I'm sure if you were watching it on a live stream, you could, when we played it back, we could hear it clear as day. And it went for, I don't know, a good, I guess, a traffic light cycle, because it was obviously somebody's car.
Yeah.
So it was at least a couple of minutes that it was going. You would think, like, if it were me, like, if it happened during my eulogy, I would have stopped. I would have, played it off. You know, some comic relief or whatever. And then continued, right? That dude just kept talking through it.
Yeah.
Nobody was listening to a fucking word he was saying, because all you hear is it was so fucking loud with the drums and the fucking literally it sounded like there was a goddamn parade happening. So that happens. and the priest doesn't stop talking, just keeps going.
Hmm.
Like nobody can hear him, he just keeps talking. Like, dude, what the actual fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you offline? I told you offline about the we talk about the googly eyes.
No, I saw the googly eyes,
All
but
right.
we didn't talk about it.
All right, so spend a minute talking about the googly eyes. So my sisters bought these giant googly eyes, right? Not the Jennifer Lopez size googly eyes. I'm talking like saucer plate size googly eyes, like this big. And so the joke was they were going to kind of try and just to loosen up my mom, lighten the mood a little bit, put them, because my dad could be pretty silly. And so they were going to try and put him on the coffin somewhere, just to loosen up my mom.
Wow.
Yeah, and the coffin was a rental, so we're like, okay, we're not going to do that. So they the next morning of the funeral, we're like, okay, where are we going to put these? So my sister says, well, she's find someplace. There was this mitten and
like a scarf rack.
like a scarf sock rack for like homeless people. You could donate scarves and socks and stuff like that. But it's in the shape of this tree. So she took the googly eyes and put them on the tree, like punk, like this. So it looks like the Stanford fucking University mascot, right? If you're familiar with that, that's what it fucking looked like immediately to me. So fast forward, it's the casket's in the back of the church. They're getting ready to do the flag folding ceremony. I'm standing at attention next to the casket, looking straight into, straight like this, into fucking googly eyes. Because right on the other side of the casket is this fucking tree with giant googly eyes on it. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Could you hear Jennifer's voice in your head?
No, dude. And I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, right? And then and they're getting ready to play taps. And Kate comes over, and she's obviously upset because this is the funeral. It's a time to be upset. And I'm just at attention, and I lean in and I tell her, googly eyes. She looks up and she sees them. And she's like, it makes like a noise. So then I play taps, and so they're playing taps. You got a fucking Navy commander and a fucking chief inspector of fucking U.S. Customs standing there, like saluting the coffin draped with the flag of our country in the most somber moment ever. And I'm standing there at attention, staring at fucking a tree with googly eyes on it. Which was great because I had something to focus on.
Right.
And then again, during the flag folding ceremony, I'm fucking watching this shit like just in the background. And at one point, the priest actually walked over, and I don't know if he saw it and tried to block it physically, but he wasn't really tall enough to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of like put himself in between it. It was too late at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could see it in the stream either because the it was so far away. But oh my fucking God, the guy just the googly eyes following me. And it was not my idea. I had nothing to do with it. This is all my sisters. I don't even know they know about the Hennifer thing because they don't listen to the podcast. But it is not the thing you think of when you're standing there and they're getting ready to fold the casket flag on your dad's as they're getting ready to fucking, get rid of them. So yes, googly eyes during the fucking ceremony, and then salsa music interlude.
Right. Yeah.
While we were there as well. So
yeah, I know. I was the first time I saw the googly eyes. I was already like where I was sitting, and I happened to look back, and I'm like, are those big googly eyes on that?
Yep.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it was courtesy of my sister.
Yeah.
The other thing was the loud fucking chirp, that loud beeping.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's when my wife's step grandparent. I don't know. I don't know how that all works out. But it was her name's Pat. Like it was Pat's oxygen regulator, like her breathing machine.
Oh.
Was basically saying, "Hey, here's your 10-minute warning." Right? That's what that sound was.
Right, right.
And I was in the back of the church when I started to hear it. So when I came up front, like, you know, Hazel and Joe were excusing themselves and were leaving. I was thinking, oh, okay, because Pat's probably running out of oxygen. They need to fucking go get it. No, come to find out, they had no idea what that sound was.
Wow.
And I'm like, how? What? Like, it was loud. It was loud, like, I don't know. You know how when people's hearing aids go bad and it's like making noise that everyone else can hear, but you can't? Like, you've probably never encountered that. You've
No,
got that
I
look
have
like
not.
You have probably, somebody out there has encountered this. I know you have, because my grandfather was notorious for that shit. He'd have a fucking hearing aid battery was going bad, and it makes this fucking noise. And everyone in the world
We
can
need to
hear it.
put that on the dub.
Everyone in the world can hear it except for the person that needs to hear it. But yeah, there was this beeping. This is fucking beeping, and it was her fucking oxygen.
2:21. That was the greatest noise I've ever heard. Oh.
Anyway, the shenanigans. There was shenanigans. Me dropping papers during the eulogy was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's all I remember. I'm sure I remember.
All right. Well, the only last thing I have is, have you ever seen Macaulay Culkin's girlfriend?
No, I haven't.
Yo, this chick is fucking hot as hell.
Well, he finally, like, I know he doesn't look nearly as cracked out as he used to.
Right, yeah, he used to look like a straight up crackhead.
Like, so good on him for
Mhm.
what?
What?
What is happening?
Is this a Spaceballs moment?
Everything is happening now. No, I opened up a window on my desktop, and it's playing the countdown. But apparently that's because I'm not actually live. It was at the beginning, so it freaked me out for a hot second.
Oh,
So
okay.
anyway, I'm just going to move past that because I want to see Macaulay Culkin.
Girlfriend. Don't do wife. It'll show like his ex-wife, and she's not hot.
He was married?
Apparently.
Well, I guess if you can't be famous like that and not be married. Like somebody's gonna glom onto that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend, wife or girlfriend, Brenda Song.
Yeah.
What is she from?
She has an IMDb page, so I guess she's been in stuff. But
Oh, they have a kid.
oh, I didn't realize.
So he's at least put at least one fucking loaf of bread in that oven.
Very nice.
Yeah, good on him.
Well, it's getting about to our 2.5 hour mark.
Yeah, and
So-
I've got a football game to get to.
Yeah.
So there's no news to read because we're not doing that today.
Yep. But the next time we'll be back, we're obviously not going to be here next week for Christmas. But go Niners on Christmas
Yeah,
night.
enjoy that.
Yeah. So we'll be back. Are we coming back on January 1st?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I
don't know how many people will be able to tune in, but
look, I'm going to tentatively say that it should be fine,
okay.
but I haven't talked to the boss.
Right.
So let me clear everything with the boss. We are actually going, the next weekend is our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh.
So we'll be gone for the weekend. I'll be back in time for work.
Mhm.
So that'll be fine. But we're going into New York City to go see a show. And that, you know, that old chestnut. So yes, that's. But for New Year's, I don't think we have any plans
Okay.
as of now.
Yeah, I highly doubt we have plans, so,
So we'll
should
see.
be good.
Could be just an early night.
Yep.
Episode 100 for the
Oh.
Orange and Fetch show
Nice.
will be January 1st.
Oh,
So what's the topic going to be?
yeah. Good question. Yeah, Orange and Fett 100 already.
Damn. Shit goes by quick.
I know.
They grow up so fast.
I know. Yep. All of our babies are growing up.
That's right, Chris. EAGLES. Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
You should be singing it as Miss Lopez.
I'm not getting her dressed. What is Brownie Scissor Tits? Tacos.
No idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll probably be back January 1st, and it'll be our Rebel Moon episode.
Yes, whatever we do, the next episode will be the Rebel Moon episode, and probably some sort of follow up with like, hey, did the world catch fire on fucking 2024?
But I also still want to do, from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi. So
Yes,
we need to
I
get to
need
that.
to have time to read that.
Oh yeah, me too. I haven't read them yet either, but
Yeah.
we got to pick like which stories we want to do.
Yeah, my plan is to read the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So, because I don't know that I could pick in each individual one, I think I'd want to just read the whole thing and then pick.
Okay.
But that's me. I'm going to go for the whole thing.
All right, then
The
I
whole shebang bang.
will. Then I will attempt to do the same.
Whole shebang bang. I mean, it's a thick book, but I think
Yeah, it
it'll
is,
go.
ladies.
Yeah,
My penis is so smooth.
I think it would go quickly because it's a bunch of short stories.
Okay. So that'll probably be after Rebel Moon.
Yes,
So Rebel Moon, then certain point of view.
yes,
All right.
maybe, whatever we.
Yeah, it's
We'll do.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
we'll do it live as we always do.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it then.
Yes.
Thanks everybody for tuning in and sticking with us. And
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for everything this
Yep.
past week.
Yep. And to your father, David Martin Sr.
To Dad.
And rest in peace.
Okay, now what do I click?
All righty.
I click that. That's what I click.
Yes.
All right.
That was good.
Yeah.
Should I end the stream?
I got to pee.
All right, Dave's got to pee, so we're just going to end the stream because I'm going to pee right after him. And then he's got to transfer files and everything else. But thanks for sticking with us. You guys are the best. We love you all. And, yeah, we'll see you on the first day of 2024. Good night.